Hey, so guys, in this video, I'm going to be going over sidechaining and envelope followers. So, sidechaining first. This is the first thing you'll kind of hear about when you get into making dance music, and really not that complicated. It's basically change of volume over time from another input, right? So let me focus here and get our compressor down here. So we have the sound, and we have a compressor on it. So we bring the threshold down, we'll see a gain reduction, and what's affecting the gain reduction is the audio itself. So every time the sound goes over kind of a certain velocity, we'll get gain reduction, and we'll see that here. And we'll open our histogram so we can see gain reduction. All right. So what sidechaining is you're taking the audio from another piece of another channel, and that's affecting the compressor. That's affecting the gain reduction on this. So you get to that by clicking this little arrow here, sidechain, and that's basically all it is. You go 19 because that's our kick drum, and we'll notice. We'll see. We can hear it. We have our kick coming through when you hear that little preview button, right? So when we bring the threshold down, right, the kick is affecting the threshold, and that's really interesting, and that really frees up the mix, and that's how you get that pumping effect, right? And there's ways to refine it. So a lot of producers, they'll use like a ghost kick, and you can use that if you want. It's a way to, because when you listen to this, the kick is kind of long, and it kind of triggers the compression twice, right? It's just like it's like a really deep valley, and sometimes it doesn't really sound harmonically okay. So what you can do in the detection circuit, I call it a detection circuit just because the sidechain detection circuit. So we will listen to it. All right, so this is our kick. What we can do is we can add a filter that you can't hear in the actual audio when you're not soloing it or not monitoring it. You'll hear a high pass, band pass, low pass, bell, the shelf, all that fun stuff. I go high pass. So what we're getting is a click. We're getting the high pass version of that kick. And what that's doing is that's making the gain reduction kind of smoother and more musically pumping. Like the whole body of the kick, like this part, is not triggering the compression. The click is, because everything else is kind of high passed. So we have that, so we can bring that down to an appropriate level. Right, now listen to that. Right, we're getting there. Right, I'll just do EQ on and off, you can hear the difference. Right, so that right there, that allows the click of that kick to have full force when it hits, and that's all well and good. So how you get more of a pumping effect is you increase the ratio. So remember, a ratio of 1:1 is nothing. Nothing's going on. But as you increase the ratio, you get more of a gain reduction, and we'll bring that down. And how you make it more or less pumping is the release time. So a fast release time, it goes back to normal right away. Right? You can't even really hear that. It's so quick, it's 1 millisecond. What are we thinking? As we increase it, right, we're getting more of a pumping sound or pumping effect. And depending on the track, depending on what you want, you can get a really nice sound. Right, and that's basically sidechaining in a nutshell. It's really useful for mixing and making things all sit together. And like basically, when you're starting out, you should sidechain literally everything, but to varying degrees. You wouldn't want to sidechain a clap like this. You'd have the threshold a little bit up and the ratio a little bit down. And that's that. All right, so I want to show you another form. There's also, you also have sidechaining for the glue compressor. If you're into that, you can do the same thing, and the same kind of formula applies. You get a set release time and not so much of an infinity to 1 ratio. But it does add nice kind of harmonics, and it's another flavor of a compressor. The Ableton compressor here, this one is more linear, and this one adds some nice harmonics based off of an SSL 4000 bus compressor guy. All right, so we have this right here. I'll just get rid of these to avoid confusion. I'll leave the compressor on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the dynamic so you can hear this a bit more. All right, so we have that. All right, so I compressed a second of that just for the example. So we're going to drop in a auto filter. We're going to use something called an envelope follower. So what this does is it's from the olden days, and what it does is it takes the voltage or the amplitude of like another signal. It could be, you know, a voice or something. Anything that has changes in volume, it will do that, and it will convert it to a value. So it's kind of like sidechaining, but for a filter or such. And really it works kind of the same way as sidechaining, but it's in a value of like negative and positive. So it's not so much something coming in and it triggering a reduction. This is triggering fun things. So we're going to go sidechain. I'm going to drop this on 18. We can listen to 18 here. I just wanted something that's kind of elongated so you can hear. Right? So you'll hear in this. So we'll go prefix. Don't worry about that right now. We'll bring our amplitude or envelope maxed up. And I'll do that. Give it some resonance. Right, so the filter's opening when this part's really loud, and then it closes as this part, you know, there's nothing triggering this, right? Right, and opposite. Right. That's it could start out closed or start out open and end open or closed. The opposite. So what we can do now is we can add, say, another one so you can hear it. Now this could be a sidechaining technique. I don't know. I don't really use it that much, but what you can do is you can kind of have interesting evolving percussion-y filtery bits. And it's a really nice effect. So I'll go 19. Right, so the kick is triggering the band pass moving up and down automatically. And this one is being triggered by this guy. So right, and you can get like interesting sounds that way, and that is the envelope follower. You can do a lot of neat things with that. Not so much of the ability to route it to other things, but it's there. And yeah, you can add some neat little effects. You can ping pong delay it. And that's it. All right, hope you learned stuff, and have a good one.